They said free the Palestinians, then celebrate the death of native Indians. How these other races gon' take us serious? They don't. It's silly thinking you can fight oppression with a vote. I'm so woke, I got sleep deprivation. Belly of the beast giving birth to a nation. You know how I feel to have culture and they take it. It'll never be peace, tell them free the reservation. Till it's backwards, they don't know that they exist no more. Ever try reaching out for help and you just get ignored? Pick up vices like drugs, your child fill a void. They get a youth life sentence for a killing, he was just a boy. Niggas poor, what we living for? Life a gamble, it's like 10 or 4. Police hands around your neck, they just hit record. We in war, man, this ain't the norm. But you don't know how I feel to be black. Yeah, you don't know how I feel to be black. Yeah, you don't know how I feel to be black. Yeah, you don't know how I feel to be black. Yeah, you don't know. Mama on the stage crying. She just lost her only son to gang violence. Pops level 4 yard talking through the fence. Have you ever tried to hug your loved ones through a fence? Have you ever been hated just because your skin? Have you ever worked all week and couldn't pay your rent? Life a trip, I'm trying to catch my balance. Every step feel like I'm walking backwards. Credit card, but God check the balance. I come from where it's rough, that's why my heart callous. They want you to fall weak, that's a war tactic. Look how we live, what's scary than that? What you know about crossing the Darien Gap? Risk your life to live in hell or bury your kids. Either way we gotta suffer and they just get rich. Life a bitch, why I waste time telling you that? Cause if you ain't a nigga like me, you don't know how I feel to be black. Yeah, you don't know how I feel to be black. Yeah, you don't know how I feel to be black. Yeah, you don't know how I feel to be black. Yeah, you don't know.
We have a gift that nobody can see, that was handed over to us to do something amazing. Take the gift, man. Take the gift. Take the gift, man. And let the Most High work in you to do something you have never believed.
I ain't even impressed what you expect. You see this shit? Hold on, there's one West on my chest.
One West world, that's it.
Fuck a street code, let a priest love. No stain, great Dane with the leash off. I ain't nothing of this world, I need a respawn. I just know they wish that I would stop, but I keep going. These fringes on my calf like a tube sock. I used to stuff the loose ones in my shoebox. And we came a long way from the curbside. Now we looking from the top from a bird eye. And I can't leave my brother on the battlefield. Lord, let the hell rain, we gon' see who real. And you know they gon' hate when they see a plate. So imagine what they doing for $250,000. And we really the only ones going to war. You niggas just be talking like y'all won the war. I made love to this truth and there's no divorce. My Spanish mommy call me Poppy like a corner store. Let me show you how to do it. Said he living by the word, I think it's time he proved it. I think you better use your head before you fucking lose it. And save the acting for the camera, this is not a movie. I pray to God I don't fall off. I ain't nothing like y'all. Niggas think they slime, cut their head off a python. Blame me for my outlook, never counted the lookouts. The world said I wasn't shit, but look at how I turned out. Not so bad, huh? Why you mad, huh? We go hard, but go harder for the have-not. Listen, when that oil hit your leg, then you can't stop. Your feet better hit the ground running, this shit bedrock. Man, we tried to put him on, but he sleep. Waking up the people, that's the job for a priest. Hopped out the wheel, fringes swinging like a pendulum. You heard of the tribes, where the fuck you think they get it from? Look, I'm a soldier, get the order, then I get it done. Got some big shit to split the water, make these niggas run. Why you hurt? If I told the truth, then I showed you love. Let me prove it, wanna move right, let me show you how to do it. Let me show you how to do it. Said he living by the word, I think it's time he proved it. I think you better use your head before you fucking lose it. And save the acting for the camera, this is not a movie.
Don't step over the line though. Everybody, anybody, it's up for everybody. And that's I got bigger fish to fry. I got people to save. I ain't even on a rap, so I already beat the rap shit.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man. If you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please, go to isupk.com and pay your tithe. Drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do. Everyone west. Everyone west. Everyone west.
Hey, Shalom, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahushua Brakatham to all the brothers, Yahweh Shamar Latan Bahashem, Yahushua to all the sisters. I'm priest and officer 500 Barak Yala with the I.S.U.P.K, which stands for the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge. Started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General YAHANNA, you understand? And we're back again with these Brotherhood classes every Thursday evening, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right? Live on I.S.U.P.K, Montreal, Toronto, YAHANNA La Puraneta, and Haiti. We have the English Brotherhood classes 1 week out of 2. I understand, taught by myself, 500 Barak Yala. And it's so important to be in these classes, especially tonight. Tonight is going to be a heavy class, a heavy topic. With everything that's going on around the world, all these events that we're seeing, you know, whether it's the impending famine that is coming to us, World War III, Civil War, race war, what's called Trump. Good night. Trump is on the roll right now. He's saying he's saying potentially he's about to invade Mexico. Remember, I think he mentioned, what was it, last year, 2 years ago, he wanted to drop a bomb in Mexico. Well, he said, you know what, we're considering going down there to fight the cartels. You know, and that's such hypocritical of them. Why? Because the biggest cartel on the planet Earth is the Caucasian race. You understand? We're about to go into certain articles because the topic of the class is literally them or us, you know, and it's so heavy. Why? Because even the Bible says this, right? In 2nd Ezra, we're about to pull it up, but everything that's going on right now, everything that matters is going to be between so-called our nation versus their nation. And our fight is not a carnal fight. That doesn't mean don't go train. Absolutely train. You never know what could happen. You need to be able to protect yourself and your loved ones at all times. But our fight is more spiritual than anything. We're going to see that tonight. We're going to understand what's going to transpire in the next coming weeks, months, next year, right? It's going to have a certain effect on our people, where they're going to have no choice. They have less of it. They never had a choice, really. But for argument's sake, our people are going to witness how they have, you know, their time is running out. And I'm going to have you understand why I say our people, time is running out, right? Because of course we know that the kingdom of heaven is for so-called Black, Latinos, and Native. There's not going to be one heathen in a, you know, position of power in the kingdom of heaven, right? This is not the Christian church. This is not the Muslim mosque. This is not your fake Israelite church or whatever they say about the Gentiles. The Gentiles that can be saved are Israelites. You understand? We're about to see what these people truly think of us. And they're hiding their emotions even less than before. It's like they're more open about how they feel about so-called Black, Latinos, and Natives. They're about to be even more open than they are right now. Not even to mention the fact that there is a absolute racist in the Oval Office, the head office, Salakia. You know, there's an absolute racist that's been elected as a president. There's nothing but talks about stopping immigration, you know, Black fatigue all over the world. Don't think it's just America. Canada, America, France, the UK, Australia. Australia said, let's get the machetes and unalive the niggas. That's what they had a whole banner in Australia for that. It's everywhere. We're about to get into it, you know. But like I said, let me just pull the precept and then we'll get into the article. Right, let's go to 2nd Ezra's chapter 6. Start at verse bear with me 1 second. Second Ezra chapter 6. We're going to start at verse 8 or 9. Let's start at verse 9, right? We'll probably go to verse 8. Let me share my screen. Any questions or comments, absolutely put it in the chat. So second Ezra chapter 6, verse 9. Let me zoom in a bit. It says, for Esau is the end of the world. Now, if you have been diligently tuning into these classes, as you should, right? Instead of sucking on blunts, instead of sleeping with whores. Second Ezra chapter 6, verse 9, for Esau is the end of the world. You will know by now who is Esau and what does the word world means. Esau or Edom is the biblical name of the Caucasian race, whom you call white people, right? And the world meaning age or society or empire, however you want to put it, right? So this is the end of their society. This is the end of this is the last empire that stood against us among all those empires before. You understand? This is the last. And Jacob is the beginning of it that follow it. Why? Because Jacob, who's a forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, were the next kingdom that followed. We're the next one to be brought up. The last one. Why? Because our kingdom will never fall. The kingdom of God will never fail. You understand? Let's keep reading. Verse 10. The hand of man is betwixt the heel and the hand. What does that mean? See, that's why we may have to start at verse 8 for you to understand, right? What does that mean? The hand of man is betwixt the heel and the hand. Let's go back. Let's go to verse 8. Second Ezra chapter 6 verse 8 says, and he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. So if you know, he's referring to how, you know, the birth of Jacob and Esau, two different nations. That's in Genesis 25, if I'm not mistaken. Two different nations, two manner of people came about. You understand? And were brought up. Salakia. And Esau was born first. And when they were born, Jacob held his heel. That's what it's referring to, right? But now, what does that mean? Because it says the hand of man is betwixt the heel and the hand. What does the word betwixt mean? You understand? You need to understand certain definitions, right? And context to be. Otherwise, you're not going to understand what the Bible says. So let's look up the definition of betwixt, right? Share my screen. This is the meaning of betwixt. It's an old English word to mean between. You understand? Between two people or things. That's what it means. Now, when we go back to 2 Ezra 6 and 10, it says, the hand of man is betwixt the heel and the hand. Mind you, Jacob is holding Esau's heel. Picture that for a second. What does that mean? The hand of man is betwixt the heel and the hand. Anyone can answer. I'm going to give y'all 15 to 20 seconds. Right? We have 15 to 20 seconds. Then we'll move on because we have the article, 1-2 article to go over tonight's topic, right? Which is again, them or us, the great replacement. Good night. Imagine, well, first of all, what do you do with your hands? What I damn near gave you all the answer. Why? Because to do something is an action. The action of man, of mankind, right, is relevant to how we are, so-called blacks, Latinos, and natives versus them. Esau. Esau is the heel, Jacob is the hand. What's going on right now around the planet Earth, you understand, is going to be okay, how can I put it right? The decisive what's the word again? The decisive detail, or denominator of what's going on around the planet with mankind, because of the relationship between so-called Israelites and Edomites. That's it. The only reason they're in power is because we sinned. The only reason they remain in power because we're slaves. Imagine we go back to following the Most High. Us going back to following the Most High, there will be peace on earth and they will not be ruling anymore. The Bible says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. When the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. Listen, when did the whole planet mourn when we were under captivity under the Arabs? When did the whole planet mourn when we were under captivity under the Africans or the Chinese, the Moabites? When did the whole planet mourn? Right now, the whole planet is in the mourning. They're in mourning since we've been in slavery under the oppression of so-called Caucasian people. You understand? You never asked for peace in the Middle East back in the days until the Caucasian people came in power. And the only way to have so-called peace in the Middle East, to stop complaining about what African tribe is having civil conflict right now, I don't know. But they're unaliving each other down there in Africa. They're complaining in Yemen. They're complaining. The Aborigines of Australia are complaining. The only way to make everybody happy, to make everybody stop mourning, to make every nation rejoice, is when the righteous are in authority, when the Israelites are in power under Christ. That's the only way. Meaning, right now it's like look at it as a power struggle, right? What's happening right now? You only see it happen right now around the planet. Why? Because the wicked are bearing rule. Imagine how the Chinese is banning TV programs because they're too effeminate. That would not happen in our kingdom, because a man cannot be effeminate. It's only happening because the white man is bearing rule and he's controlling what's going on the TV. You understand? Why did Peru had to classify the transmissioners, right? The transgender community. I'm not sure what's the proper term of saying. Why did Peru have to classify them as mentally ill? Because the white man is bearing rule. That's why. The reason why people are calling for peace in the Middle East is because the white man is ruling. That's why. You understand? This is the sole reason why. Like, we're looking at, don't look at it. Even when you want to complain about the ozone layer, the animals being extinct. During the colonial era, right? There was no such thing as, let's make sure we don't hunt the species to extinction. The white man was having a ball. He was just hunting lions like there was no tomorrow, until they realized, well, we're killing off the lion population. Like, even with the Africans that eat everything that have a heartbeat, the animals didn't go extinct. You understand? Caucasian people are like a cancerous plague on the earth. Everywhere they go is nothing but death and destruction. You understand? Good night. The Bible says it. The Bible said, because, slightly paraphrasing, because thou pursue blood, blood shall pursue thee. Everywhere a Caucasian person sets foot or whatever they lay their eyes upon, they have like that sense of wanting to unalive. Like you see sometimes, okay, you see as a man, you look at a pretty woman, in your mind you have that sense of trying to holler at that woman. That's the first thing that comes to mind. Wow, she's beautiful, she's pretty, I want to have her as a wife. You know, some food smell good, your first thought is, I'm hungry, I want to, it's your primitive thought of being hungry, your primitive thought of wanting to reproduce, right? When you don't drink, you're thirsty. It's normal, right? Well, their primitive thought, what's normal for them is to want to unalive. You understand? I'm going to refer to one of the classes Officer 5000 Dam Gabar did, right? He did a class on how certain animals went extinct at the hand of the British. Why? Just for no goddamn reason. Just for hell of it. And I'm going to get to the comment in the chat in a minute, right? But the point is, everything they lay their eyes upon, they have to unalive it. They have to. Why? Because that's how they function. It's like the first train of thought in a white person is to take the life of whatever they lay their eyes upon. It's to cleanse the land of whatever life form it has. It's not my opinion. It's not just the Bible that says it. Historically speaking, you will find it yourself. You understand? The comment said, evil people trying to stop God's people mission. Vengeance is the Lord's. Vengeance is the Lord's. Absolutely. Vengeance is the Lord's. And those evil people trying to stop God's people mission are the devil the Bible speaks of. Quote unquote, the Caucasian race, the Edomites. They're the one trying to stop us. Guess what? They can't. We're going to go over that in a second. But real quick, let me not be too long-winded. Let's get into the first article, which is part of the topic of the class, which is them or us? You understand? Let me share my screen. First article, let's get to it. This is Elon Musk's dad, Errol Musk. I'm going to say Emerald Musty. Salakia. Elon Musk's dad, Errol Musk, says U.S. will go the South Africa way if. We'll see what he's about to talk about. For those who don't know, these people are inherently racist. And they're saying that white people were indigenous to Africa, to South Africa specifically, which we know is a lie. You know, I mean, that's, I don't even need to explain that, right? But they're saying that, well, the immigrants that Trump is allowing in the country are quote unquote white South Africans who claim that they were fleeing a genocide at the hand of the black native South Africans, which is a lie. If we look at the history of South Africa and the apartheid, they were decimating the Hamites down there. And now they're playing, you know, just like a regular white person, they're playing the victim. And Elon Musk's father is saying the U.S. will face the same situation as white South Africans. Why? Because white people are not reproducing enough. White people are going extinct. That's what he's saying. So Elon Musk's father, Errol Musk, said that the U.S. will be doomed, as he was told that the whites in the country are expected to become the minority population in the next 20 years. Good night. Were white people ever the majority in the first place? And that's diabolical to say that white people are going extinct. They're becoming a minority. You know who's becoming you know who became a minority throughout the Americas that we think are going extinct, that you should see on every street corner, owning a house, owning a business, owning the land? The indigenous people of the Americas. Like, imagine the white man having the gall to say white people are going extinct on stolen land. Imagine that. And don't think, well, this is an American problem. Elon Musk is of what, Dutch descent from South Africa? What does it have to do with America? Well, the thing is, it's like a hive mind, right? Let me pull up to you the definition of a hive mind. I'm using words and terminologies that people may not understand. White people have this, it's like a hive mind. They all think the same. You understand? That's the thing. They're one body. That's what a hive mind is. And even though he would be a so-called white South African, of course, a colonizer of South Africa, he thinks that, you know, a white people problem is a white people problem wherever white people are. Doesn't matter if it's America, if it's Canada, if it's France, the UK, and I'm going to show you that. But let's see what a hive mind is, because this is exactly what these white people have. They think the same, right? Hive mind is a notional entity consisting of a large number of people who share their knowledge or opinions with one another, regarded as producing either uncritical conformity or collective intelligence. They think the same. They're on the same wavelength. The Bible would say they're one body. They're of one mind. People today would say it's a hive mind. Why? Because a hive, imagine a beehive, they're all doing the same, they all have the same train of thought, right? And that train of thought of Elon Musk's father is not new. It's always been like that. That's in the Bible too. And I'm going to show you why, because the Bible said, prove all things, speak as the oracle of God. But real quick, before we continue in this article, right? Matter of fact, let's continue this article a bit. So during a recent interview with CNN's Donnie O'Sullivan for his new special, Misinfo Nation, White Genocide, good night. I've never heard that in my life, a white genocide. When have anybody committed a genocide on Caucasian people? Besides Caucasian people. Errol was told the big concern at the moment, and why I think South Africa is a big talking point in the US right now, is America in the next 20 years will become, for the first time in history, a minority white country, which again is diabolical, because the Americas, from the north to central to the south and the Caribbean, became a indigenous minority continent. You see how our oppressor is a devil? He's worried about him going extinct when he colonized the land. You understand? Let's keep reading a bit. To this, Elon Musk replied, well, that will be a very, very bad thing to happen. Adding, you want to see the US go down? Why? You don't like cars or whatever the case is. He's see, and look at this, right? He's given a racist comment, as obviously he says, what is it? You want to go back to the jungle? That's what he's saying. If white people are minorities, they think it's going to be the collapse of civilization. The thing is that we would have to see an example of Caucasians, you know, of I'm just going to say that Caucasian civilization. Why? Because when I say civilization, I'm talking about also the people with a moral code that are civilized. Not just because you have a city, you're civilized, or we have morals. The proof is the Roman Empire. Then you're legalized pedophilia. The Greco-Romans was all right with sexual deviancy. They made them damn near every religious aspect or every religious cult or every aspect of their belief was around sexual immorality. So you cannot bring these as examples. When white people were ruling in Europe, which they still are to this day, the Black Plague was because these people are nasty and filthy. The moment they stepped out the caves of the Caucasus and they started spreading like COVID around the earth, everything just withered away. It's almost like, before we get to the other article, right? It's almost like they forgot where they come from. To try to say, well, if white people become a minority and go extinct, what we're going to do, go back to the jungle? Don't you know that you come from the Caucasus Mountains? Don't you know that you come from the caves? This is why you call yourself Caucasians. You name yourself cave dwellers. You name yourself troglodytes. This is not a term that anyone of color came with. You named yourself that. Imagine that. And then you want to make it seem like it's racist for someone to say, but you call yourself Caucasians. You call yourself troglodytes. Caucasian means cave dweller, caveman. You're the savage on the face of the earth. If you look at any movie or even made up documentary they made about cave people, they're just mentally delayed hunting and eating raw, uncooked meat. That's what they do. They make it seem like they invented fire, which they didn't. That's diabolical. Even in a delayed mental state, you steal everything. You understand? And you're apparently at fault for the extinction of some of the animals on the earth. They said the mammoth, the woolly mammoth, has been extinct because he was hunted to extinction. Who was hunted a hairy elephant to eat it? Come on, in the cold. That's what they make it seem. Y'all look at the first movie, Ice Age. What black caveman have you seen? Which one? You see, the problem is white people are hypocrites and they like to play victim. Now, apparently, the white race is going extinct, which we're about to see that some of the actions that are being taken by Trump are also based on that belief, which is also part of the title of the class, which is the Great Replacement. So his ideology is not new. I'm about to show you that right now. And I'm also about to show you that it's been in the Bible that nations fear you replacing them. When I'm talking about you, I'm talking about so-called blacks, Latinos, and natives who are the real biblical Jews of antiquity. Let me share my screen on the article. 1 second. This is the Great Replacement Theory. Y'all can look this up, you know, on your own terms, on your own time. I'm going to give a quick breakdown of it. Salakia. So the Great Replacement, in French, Grand Remplacement. We're going to see why it has to be specified in French. Also known as the Replacement Theory or Great Replacement Theory, is a debunked white nationalist far-right conspiracy theory coined by French author Renaud Camus. Camus' theory states that with the complicity or cooperation of replacist elites, the ethnic French and white European population at large are being demographically, I probably butchered that word, damn, and culturally replaced by non-white peoples, especially from Muslim majority countries, through mass migration, demographic growth, and a drop in the birth rate of white Europeans. If you know about Europe, they're being flooded with Africans and Afghani people and Arabs and yada, yada, yada. That's why they're mentioning Muslim majority countries, but really non-whites in general. Since then, similar claims have been advanced in other national texts, notably in the United States. Mainstream scholars have dismissed these claims of a conspiracy of replacist elites as rooted in a misunderstanding of demographic statistics and premised upon an unscientific racist worldview. There is no replacist elites. White people run the world. They don't want to be replaced by nothing, by nobody. But this is not new. This is as old as the Old Testament. You understand? There's nothing new about that. Let me show you the great replacement theory in the Old Testament. Let's go to Exodus chapter 1, verse 6. Right? This is after Joseph died. All his generation died. Everybody that Pharaoh knew, was acquainted with, his family, this generation was gone. Why? Because people die. People live and they die, right? So Exodus chapter 1, verse 6, and Joseph died, and all his brethren, and all that generation. So all the 12 tribes from Judah, you understand, Manasseh, Issachar, just long story short, they came into Egypt to escape the famine. Pharaoh, Salakia, they sold their brother Joseph to the Egyptians, right? He was appointed as, I forgot exactly what was his position in Egypt, but he had a high-ranking position under Pharaoh because he saved the country of a famine. Joseph, and the Pharaoh let Joseph family moved in. But I think it was like, what, 70 people? Don't quote me on the number exactly. So we moved into Egypt temporarily, if I'm not mistaken, in the area of Goshen, separated from the Egyptians. Why? Because to them, it was an abomination to even dwell around what they call Hebrews, which would be just Israelites, right? So, or shepherds, because we were shepherds. So the generation of Joseph and his brothers, they died. Verse 7, and the children of Israel were fruitful, were reproducing more than the Egyptians. Just like today. Listen, today is not, maybe not today, but in the days of our parents, grandparents, you had families like 12 kids. One mother had 12 kids. That was not unusual. We've always been a fruitful nation. You understand? And the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly and multiplied and waxed exceedingly mighty. Listen, we're growing in numbers, right? Among a nation that already despised us, that never even wanted us to sit at the same table as them. What did you think happened? The same thing that happening today. The same exact thing Elon Musk's father was talking about. We're going to show you. And the land was filled with them. Verse 8. Now there arose up a new king over Egypt. There was a new Pharaoh over the land of Egypt, which knew not Joseph. He didn't give a damn about the reputation Joseph had. Like, who the hell is this Hebrew? Why is he even in our text about, being mighty? What is going on? He don't give a damn. And that would be the equivalent of having, for instance, someone working in the American government, or in the military today, or the Canadian, whatever position you have in the government in the UK, France, whatnot. It will be the equivalent of us working in the white man's system, being on good terms with the white man that's ruling over us. And then he dies, or he gets replaced. And the story of our good, quote unquote, relationship, that's replaced as well with their natural instinct, with their primitive instinct. The new Pharaoh did not know Joseph and did not give a damn about Joseph or the other Israelites. Exodus chapter 1, verse 9. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. You know what he said? He said, we are becoming a minority, and they're stronger than us. You know who said that? Errol Musk. You know who else said it? Renaud Camus, who's responsible for that so-called conspiracy theory of what you call him again? The Great Replacement. Let me see if I can find this devil. Look at this devil right here. This devil looked like he would. This devil like he would shake Hitler's hands. Salakia. You understand? If you know about French people, he has the face of a racist. You know, he died right after World War II was over. So don't be surprised. You know. But these people are, they said the same thing Pharaoh said. What did Pharaoh say? He told his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. He said, these niggas, spicks, and savages are multiplying too fast, and they're stronger than us. They're going to overtake us. We are becoming a minority. They're going to take over. And you know what? The Israelites didn't even have a bad relationship with the Egyptians. They welcomed us open arms so that we would not starve. Moses and Christ to the Lord, being with Joseph. You understand? But we were not doing any uprising. But that same fear of our oppressor at the time, which was the Egyptian, is the same fear white people have right now. In their mind is fight or flight. And a thief is not giving up what he took. A thief is not giving back the land. If you don't know, listen, even that train of thought of white people saying they're being replaced, when what do Black and Hispanic and Native do to white people? Nothing but unconditionally love them, forgive them, and forget about all the atrocities they did to us since even before 1492. So how are we posing a problem to white people? We did not unalive Charlie Kirk. White people unalive Charlie Kirk. We did not start the war with Ukraine and Russia. White people did that. The French and the British going at it against each other, that was white on white crime. During slavery, guess what? The enemies of the British were who? Again, the Spanish, the Dutch, the Portuguese, they were all fighting against each other. Where were we? On the plantation, getting unalived by all of them. Like even the beef that they have, they make it seem like we're always at fault when we're on the receiving end of a spear, of a whip, of a bullet that says, I feared for my life, that was shot from the gun of a cop. Make it make sense. Well, guess what? That same fear the Egyptians had about being replaced, that's the same fear that the white man Renault had when he came about the great replacement theory. The same fear Elon Musk's father Errol is talking about. Well, white people are going to become a minority and they're going to go extinct. That's the same. You know, that notion of integration, that's been long gone. But now they're going to show you right now is how can I put it? It's the most simple question on the planet Earth. You don't even have to make it seem like, yo, it's really complicated. We have to look at what's going on in the world. We have to look at details or whatnot. It's just, listen, what did Michael Jackson say? ABC is easy as 1, 2, 3. Well, guess what? The problem that we have with these people is easier than that. It's even more simple. It's more simple. We're only blinded by what? By the indoctrination these people gave us, which is Catholicism, Christianity, Islam. Because when I say these people gave us, I'm talking about all of our oppressors. All of them. But the worst of them all, the one that had the biggest impact on how we think, on how we perceive things, is the goddamn devil the Bible speaks of, who happens to be the Caucasian race. You understand? Let's go back to it real quick. Exodus chapter 1 verse 9. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. That's the great replacement right there. They feared of being replaced. So what did they do to us? Verse 10 says, come on, let us deal wisely with them. They sat down, they had a council. They said, they concocted a plan. They came up with like, yo, we have an Israelite problem. Let's see how we're going to address the problem. What is the solution to the Israelite problem? This was the Egyptian solution to the Israelite problem. Lest they multiply and it come to pass that when we followed out any war, they join also unto our enemies. They say, listen, yo, they're more than us, they're stronger than us. We're going to have a beef with someone. They're going to choose the stronger side. If our enemy happens to be the stronger side, they're going to side with them. They're going to overtake us. That's paranoia. That's saying, you know what? That same paranoia, you can find in a psychopath. A psychopathic person, right? That just likes to, you know, a serial killer. Because all serial killers are psychopaths. You have the same train of thought of thinking of something that is not true. You know, some of them are schizophrenic, have mental issues. They say, I heard a voice that told me unalive them. Guess what? The white man hears a voice that says, we're going to be replaced. We need to kill Black, Latinos, and Natives. That's really what they're saying. You know how? Because Trump is saying we need to get rid of the drugs. So we're going to go to war with Venezuela. We're going to war with Colombia. We're going to invade Mexico. That's what Trump is saying. But that's all propaganda. How is it all propaganda? Because where's the fentanyl coming from? The opioids are coming from Asia. The opioids came from Afghanistan when it went to war over there. Y'all, you think what's that scene in the movie? What's that movie again with Denzel Washington? American Gangster, right? That truly happens. Bringing drugs on military planes. It still happens till this day. It's not new. You know, it's not old to where it doesn't happen no more. It happens till this day. You understand? What do you think Trump is going to Venezuela? He's not going to fight a dictatorship from Maduro. No, Trump is going to invade Venezuela because he needs oil and drugs. What he's going to do with that drug? Trump is going to resell it because he needs money to fund the war. That's really it. But what is he doing right now? He's pushing propaganda. Why? Because our oppressed the goddamn devil the Bible speaks of. And if we truly think that, you know, Trump is going over there just to free the people, mind you, that the U.S. said the same thing about Afghanistan and Iraq. They're going to free the people. They're going to look for weapons of mass destruction. Then Bush came on stage and said, we didn't find the weapons of mass destruction. It was cracking jokes. That's diabolical. You believe the same thing? Would you believe something from the man that told you to drink bleach to get rid of COVID? Guess what? You're going to drink bleach. You're going to get rid of COVID and the breath in your lungs. That's what's going to happen. You're probably going to get rid of all your insides after you drink bleach. Trust me, COVID is going to be gone too. Your life as well. Imagine that. But that's what these people did to us. These people had the same energy as all of our oppressors. When I say all our oppressors, let me show you, right? Let me go to Psalms chapter 83. Because guess what the Arabs did to us during the sub-Saharan slave trade? The Arabs had us as slaves as well. Don't believe the hype that no, under Muhammad they freed the slaves. That's a lie. They had us as slaves. Not only that, they had, just like you see in Dubai, they treat our women as sexual objects and do all types of deviant acts towards them. It used to be the same under the Arab captivity, right? They had harems of our women. Now ask yourself, unlike captivity today, where you could still find a population of men that they held as captives, sons, grandsons, fathers in other generations, why wouldn't you be able to find a population of men over there that remain from the sub-Saharan captivity. They castrated the men. It's that simple. They castrated the men. That's what they did. That great replacement theory is really more prevalent with Caucasian people, especially because they're our last, captors right now. But the Arabs, they're thinking the same. They just castrated the men. That's it. They didn't have like slave farms like the white men did. Right. Let me go to it. Let's go to Psalms chapter 83. Let's start at verse 3. Yeah. Let me share the screen. Psalms chapter 83, verse 3. It says, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. That's exactly what they did. The Egyptians did it. The Arabs did it. The white man right now is doing it. He's sitting down in the Oval Office. I don't give a damn what you call it. The White House is a whorehouse. That's all I know. The point is they're sitting there and they're plotting on going to erase you permanently from the face of the earth. Trump said they're going to deport all the criminals. Trump is going to elementary school to look for criminals. He says he's going to look for criminals at job sites. Trump is, imagine that. Trump is not even going in the prisons to deport people. He's going to elementary schools. He's going to construction sites. He's going to the grocery store. That's what he's doing. He's sending them back to Venezuela just to invade Venezuela and bomb it to oblivion. It's not a conspiracy. Like, why would he keep the people that he's going to war against right next door? That doesn't make sense. Our oppressor is a crafty monster, and he'll make you believe anything. You understand? How do I know that he'll make you believe anything? Because till this day, a lot of y'all people, Black, Latino, and Native, still believe that Christ is a white man when he's not. The point is they're sitting down together and have crafty counsel on how to get rid of you. That's what they're doing. Verse 4. They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. There's nothing new under the sun. You know what's going on in Haiti right now? I think it's what the United Arab Emirates or Qatar is saying that they're going to invest in Haiti millions, if not billions of dollars to restore order. It's a power move to set foot and take over Haiti, take over the Haitians, the Levites, according to the Bible. And it's not going to be different in Dominican Republic. You know why? Because who is the president of Dominican Republic? A stinking, filthy Lebanese descent. That's who. You understand? It's a whole plot to rule over you. Imagine that. Trinidad, what is it? The prime minister in Trinidad is a Coolie East Indian. Suriname, Guyana is the same thing. France and Martinique and French Guyana are ruled by white people. The French, right? The Dutch still has a hand in the Dutch Caribbean. I think the ABCs and half of Saint Martin, right? The Arabs are already over there. The president of El Salvador is Palestinian. The oligarchs, the elites, as they call it in Haiti, they're Lebanese and Syrians. The president of the Dominican Republic is Lebanese. This is not make-believe. They're all plotting to destroy you. Even, you see on our show that we have, right? Every Sunday, 1 p.m. Standard Time, with Officer Adiar, we played a clip of a brother from Brazil saying, yo, there is really no push to have everybody integrated and for mixing the race. It's a false premise that they want to mix the race in Latin America and make it seem like, oh, we all come in different shades because we're all mixed. They come in, they know that you're the seed of your father, but what they're pushing is the erasure of your people. How? by whitening the race. Listen, y'all go cop the book. I've been telling y'all, right? It's right here. Give me 1 second. It's called Black Skin, White Mask by Franz Fanon, right? You can have it in French, Spanish, in English. You're going to see, I think it's chapter 2 or chapter 3. Either way, it's on the same thing, right? One is from the perspective of a sister, the other one perspective of a brother, how we want to be white. But the fact that we want to be white, you know, it's really harsher on our sisters in a sense where they're gonna marry a white man and make the race better and whiten themselves to make sure that they whiten their own race. Things that's actually how you could whiten the race, is by only reproducing with white men. And that's the brainwash they push on our sisters, especially all throughout the nation of Israel, whether it's Latin America, Caribbean islands, the natives, throughout, you know, North America or whatnot. It's that same notion that we have to, you know, whiter is brighter, when white people are dumb as a rock. How do I know? They couldn't even invent the doorknob. We had to do that for them. How do I know? Because they have a whole science on it's unhealthy to wash every day. They have to wash once or twice a month. These disgusting. The point is, there's a lot of propaganda and indoctrination that comes in play when it comes to destroying a people. Now, come to find out that all these nations have a role to play in your destruction. The Arabs know that you're the real biblical Jews of antiquity, but they're not telling you to go back to following the Most High. The Arabs are telling you, come to Islam. You will fight and be able to fight white supremacy. Islam is no different than Christianity. It's Arab nationalism. That's really what it is. It's really no different. You understand? So how does it make sense? Every single nation has a hand in our captivity, has a hand in our destruction. Trump going to war in Latin America, right? Let me pull that article up. Give me 1 second. Then I'm going to go in Revelation. Let me share my screen. By the way, the Mexican president is a devil. She's like some type of Jewish from Eastern Europe. Her parents are just immigrants that came to Mexico. You understand? She is not a sister. Nor is the president of Colombia. He's a Spaniard. I think one of the only brothers is actually Maduro. I'm not saying he's good, but he's a brother. Nonetheless, Sheen Bohm, which is a crazy name, again dismisses Trump's threat of sending troops to Mexico. We do not want intervention. Was it a couple of days ago? People spat in her face. They're damn near rioting in Mexico. Why? Because come to find out, she's working with the Mexican cartels. And who birthed the cartels? The white man. The United States of America, the CIA, the FBI, whatever three-letter organization it is. It's readily available information. The point is, she said, Trump, we do not need help. Well, Trump don't give a damn. As if Trump don't care about nothing. But that's not the point. The point is, he's saying he's going to invade Mexico. Not to fight the cartel. He just wants to get rid of the people. That's why. You understand? If he wanted to fight the cartel, listen, y'all found one of the biggest terrorists on the planet Earth. What's his name? Not Saddam Hussein, Bin Laden. Y'all found him in the deepest, darkest, remote cave somewhere in the desert of Afghanistan, right? You make it seem like you cannot find a criminal organization that's just walking in the open, beheading people. You know, they're on social media just flaunting cartel activities. You're making it seem like it's impossible to stop the cartels. You don't want to stop the cartels. And I think besides the fact that you really want the monopoly, the unstoppable, or you don't want to have a middleman, you just want the monopoly for yourself, which is why you're going there. Just like in Venezuela, who has the largest natural oil deposit in the world. Mexico has what? Lithium or uranium? One of the two. Don't believe the propaganda about the drugs. The biggest drug dealer on the earth was the Crown. What's her name again? Victoria? Pablo Escobar had nothing on her. You understand? Stop believing in the propaganda. As a matter of fact, the propaganda is only pushed to destroy you even further. And our oppressor is going to do everything, every goddamn thing to make sure that you're destroyed, because they know the Bible. They stole it. You know, it's not like they never opened it before. You know how I know they opened it? Because they had to take out some parts of the Bible and make their slave Bible. How are you going to take out a part of the book just like that and not read what it's about? All these quote unquote revolution, we're going to do a history class on that, right? On the slave Bible. All the quote unquote revolutionary part where we're freed from captivity or free from slavery, what Nat Turner read, they removed that from the slave Bible. You would read a Bible that's untempered with, they would cut your tongue, they would cut your ears off, they would gouge your eyes out with a hot piece of iron. You understand? That's why we reject the Bible today, because of the propaganda that's being pushed, because of the bad connotation attached to it, which is just lies from the white man. Because the Bible is our history book. The Bible is our historical record. It's our archives. It's our constitution, so-called Blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indian. You are the biblical Jews of antiquity. You understand? And because our oppressor knows that his time is coming to an end, his time is short, everything he's seeing falling apart, it's like, yo, I'm going to take you down with me. Your personal Christ is coming back. He's cracking the sky open with 200 million nigger angels to fight in the midst of World War III. He knows World War III is in the Bible. He knows that you're the biblical Jews, and the reason why his empire is falling is because he won't let you go. You think it's counterproductive? Like, we know the solution to remain alive, but why are we just not freeing these people if that's the solution to prevent us from being erased off the face of the earth? Because he's too proud. He's too proud. You understand? What the white man said, listen, you ever heard about a white man say, oh, something happens or his wife cheats or whatnot, you're gonna unalive the wife, the children, burn down the house and unalive himself with it? Afterwards, the white man, he thinks of nothing but, you know, he's primal, and in his primitive mind, the first thing to think about is death. Doesn't matter if it's his death, the death of his loved one, the death of a people he's stealing the land from, the death of the ozone layer, the death of the waterways, the death of oxygen. If the white man could, he would kill death. You know how I know? Because they keep trying to freeze people forever so they could be immortal or whatnot. That's how I know. He's trying to kill death. You understand? Let me show you his pride, and then we're going to see that because of his time coming to an end and his boat sinking, he wants you to keep him by his side. And that's why when I said at the beginning of the class, in these coming days, weeks, and months, a lot of things are going to happen where we're going to realize we have but a short time to leave this oppressor and come to class. That's it. Let me show you the pride of the white man. Obadiah chapter 1 verse 3 says, the pride of thine heart, let me share my screen, Obadiah chapter 1 verse 3. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. For time's sake, it's talking about Esau or Edom. You understand? You could the whole chapter is about the demise of the Edomite nation. A SHALAM, YAHAWAH, SHABRAKATAH, young man Tim, the water for tuning in. The whole premise of Obadiah is a vision about the demise of the Caucasian race, the Edomites. And them knowing history, and you know, they're the first one to say, to avoid the mistakes of the past, we have to not repeat. He said, to have a chance in the future, we should not repeat the mistakes of the past, or something like that. Guess what? Looking at the Egyptian Empire, looking at the Babylonians, the Greeks, the Romans, the Persians, all the nations that had us in captivity. I just mentioned the major ones. All of them have one thing in common. They had us in captivity. They enslaved us. They oppressed us. And it's not like he doesn't know that. You could look at historical records that he stole as well. Guess what? The white man knows what's in the Bible. He knows that he's too proud of the people to just say, you know what? I give up. We had a good run. I give up. He will never say that. Why? Obadiah chapter 1 verse 3 says, the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. He's too proud to just let go. He's been caught. Damn, Putin said the people in the Bible are black. You think the white man is going to say that Christ is black? Of course not. He's too proud. He is like, it's not even about the fact that he believes in his own lie. It's about accountability. You see, certain things are not in people's vocabulary and could never be. Right? Accountability is one of them. And you think, well, women lack accountability. Listen, you could teach a woman, a sister, to have accountability. You can't teach a white person to have accountability. It's not about a mistake they do. They're committing crimes and and not feeling bad about it, and they think they're to the point where they think they're entitled to commit a crime and not be charged or not be trialed for it, not go to trial for it. They think they're untouchable. And this is what we're going to read. Thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, you Caucasian people, Caucasian meaning cave dweller, you cave beast, and cave cancer, whose habitation is high, that said in his heart. This is how white people think. This is what they have. This is the train of thought of Caucasian people, right? Who shall bring me down to the ground? He steal the land and say, who's going to take it back from me? He's committing genocide and say, well, who's going to enact revenge or bring me to justice? That's how they think. He does something bad to someone and say, what you going to do about it? Is there anyone who's going to step to me? This is exactly the mind of white people. And what that reminds you of? A bully. The white man is the biggest bully on the face of the earth. You understand? Historically speaking, you can look at, listen, you don't want to look at our nation because you don't give a damn about us, no sweat. Look at every single nation, every single piece of land the white man set foot on. Apparently, they became the natives of South Africa. Apparently, you know, all the prostitutes and prisoners and rapists from England that went to colonize Australia became the natives of Australia. And he's saying nobody can do nothing about it. Well, the Most High will. And the level of pride of white people is almost amazing. In a sense, I'm saying that not in a sense of glorifying them, but it's damn near unbelievable. You cannot believe like how they think. Like you cannot believe, damn, you can't be that proud. Guess what? They can, and they are. How do you know that? Let's go to the Bible real quick. Let's see what the Bible says. Go to 2nd Ezra's, right? 2nd Ezra's chapter 13. For time's sake, let's start at verse 31. 2nd Ezra chapter 13, verse 31. And one shall undertake to fight against one another. That's in the midst of World War III, where everybody's fighting against one another. One city against another, one place against another, one people against another, one realm against another. Everybody's going to fight. All these nations, all these governments are going to come down to the point where, yo, listen, we got to fight because we ain't just giving up. We ain't just letting go. It took us 500 years to rule the planet Earth. It took us a minute to just conquer all this land. We ain't letting that go. They're going to fight. You understand? All these nations, the Africans are like, yo, we kicking out the Caucasian man of Africa and we're going to fight. The Arabs are rallying behind Palestine. You know, they're having their own Muslim Brotherhood. They're going to fight. Everybody is going to fight one against another. I'm going to call it a civil war, a race war, a religious holy war, world war. It's war. Nonetheless, let's keep reading. Verse 32, and the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, meaning it will happen. And signs shall happen which I shewed thee before, and then shall my son be declared, whom thou sawest as a man ascending. What is it talking about? This is a prophecy about Christ returning. And Christ is returning in the midst of World War III. Right when bullets are flying left and right, people are bashing each other across the head. You understand? With whatever weapon they have at the time, rocks, sticks, who knows? Christ is coming back in the middle of the beef. Verse 33, and when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land leave the battle they have one against another. And this is how proud white people are. Right? I'm going to show the level of pride is beyond belief. They're stopped the fight. And an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together, as thou sawest them, all these armies, all these tanks, all these rifles, all these swords and knives and kitchen knives and wooden spoons and forks, willing to come and to overcome him by fighting. White people have, this is why I say it's beyond belief. Christ is cracking the sky open with 200 million angels, something that you think you would see in a movie. White people are like, well, really everybody, they're like, yo, we're going to fight him. The hell, you know what? Let's squash the beef for a second and we'll fight him. Yo, you're in the movie, right? You might think this is some scary shit. Some nigga just cracked the sky open with 200 million niggas. Damn. We see people in the world run from less. And they say, and he was sent by God. Well, damn, this is a different level of pride, thinking, yo, we're going to overcome them. We're going to overcome him. We're going to fight. Christ is going to slaughter all of these people. Damn. And they know it. But guess what? White people are too proud. They're not going to free you. They know you're the real Jews. They know that I.S.U.P.K is the home of the truth. They're still trying to come against us. You know? They portray themselves as gods. Imagine that. You portray yourself as a god. Like, what's that painting again? I'm going to show you, right? There's a painting. I forgot the name of it. But it's the painting of Adam and God. Of what they perceive of God. They call it, okay, yeah. It's the creation of Adam. Watch this. This is white people's creation of Adam. Not only is they really homosexual because why is this man naked? But they portray themselves as God. Like, this is a whole different level of pride. Hey, Shalom, I.S.U.P.K, Windsor, Shalom, Yahba, Shin Shabrak, the word for tuning in out of one. This is a whole different level of pride. Like, Elon Musk, again, as we've seen, saying white people are going extinct. They need to find a solution. The Frenchman who came up with the great replacement theory said, you know, we need to find a solution. We're not reproducing as fast. Guess what, white people? Let me help you out real quick. Your rates of, you know, reproducing has nothing to do with your false sense of insecurity of going extinct. You're a coward. You're a coward nation. How do we know that you're a coward nation? Because you came over here, you didn't know how to eat, you were starving and freezing to death. The natives help you, as opposed to say, yo, teach me how to fish, I can feed my family. You said, I'm gonna just take over the land and the lake. That's it. And whoever's remaining, well, guess what? Your supply of food, as far as reindeer and buffalo, I'm gonna kill them too, because I don't want you to have a chance to live. And even when the natives, even though they're still asking for the land back, right? They're on the reservation, you still impede on the reservation that you left them. Like, we cannot leave them anything. And you lie about it. You say, well, we had treaties. I mean, in the US, it's no, what do you call it again? In the US, it's no, they don't hide the fact that they didn't respect the treaties, right? In Canada, especially in Quebec, they're saying, well, the French had treaties with the natives. That's how we created Quebec and Montreal. The French came over here. I'm in Montreal right now. I'm 30 minutes away from a reservation that should be inhabited. Listen, the whole place should be inhabited by the Mohawks. The French came over here and said the Mohawks need to be exterminated. That's what they said. What? They was not even a treaty to disrespect. They said we need to obliterate them. That's what the French said. Stop lying. I don't give a damn if you lie or not at the end of the day, because the I.S.U.P.K is the home of the truth and will bring out the truth. Nothing could stop the truth. Don't matter how much billions you got. It don't matter what measures you take. You can't stop the truth. And I'm going to show you how. I'm going to show you why. That's everything we say is in the Bible. Right? But like I said, I was going to show you how before the empire coming down, we're running short on time, before the empire coming down, what they're going to do is they're going to push propaganda to make sure you're being destroyed before and with them. You're going to fall before them, and you're going to fall as they fall. Now, what is the solution? I'm going to give it to y'all before I end the class, right? You see the comment. Windsor said, definitely going to rewatch. Hey, Mosai in Christ. The water to y'all. Listen, the water to commending John YAHANNA for raising the men above us. You understand? That are raising us up for us to be able to raise the next generation. It ain't me. It's the Lord. Mosai in Christ that we got a man like commending John YAHANNA that never dropped his sword. That kept the truth. You understand? Salakia. Go to Revelation chapter 12. Salakia. Therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. I'm going to break down to you for time's sake, right? Woe to the woe means destruction. At a time, what is destruction in the biblical time? Is them being eradicated. Destruction is death. Death and destruction. That's what woe means. You understand? Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. The people. It doesn't mean, listen, I don't know how many people live under the sea. This is not SpongeBob. It's not Atlantis. People living under the sea, breathing water. Leave the Christian church. If you leave the Christian church and everything you learn there, you'll stop believing in stupidness that you might see on the Disney Channel and Nickelodeon. however you pronounce those stupid words, right? The point is, this is a metaphor. It's talking about the people. Woe to this, death and destruction to this society, right? For the devil, which who know it is, that great serpent, that dragon. As a matter of fact, we're going to break down this whole chapter another time, another class, just for time's sake, right? But it's talking about the old serpent of the garden, the dragon, if you read a couple of verses up. The devil is come down unto you having great wrath. This is why you see ICE just dragging children out of their father's hand while he's having a seizure in the car. That's why we're being oppressed more than ever. This is why, as a matter of fact, I just see this is why they're cutting the food stamps. Don't think they're cutting the food stamps because people are just taking advantage of the government. Even over here, they want to cut welfare for a certain type of for some people. That's not because people are taking advantage of the government. That's not why. It's because even though some white people need food stamps and welfare, because you're on it, they rather have their people hurt than to see you even have an ounce of hope to even try to survive. Again, it's all about not them trying to live without you, trying to, have you move out. They can't have you move out and start to, grow back from it. No, they can't. They need to eradicate you. They don't want to see you even in the museum. They don't want to see you. What's the statue again? They don't want to see a wax statue of you. They don't. They don't even want to see you. They don't even want to have a memory of you. What we just read in Psalms 83, that the nation of Israel shall be no more in remembrance. They won't even have the thought of having you in their mind. That's why the devil is going to come down on you having great wrath. He's going to do everything to make sure, we destroying these people before we destroy it. We know our empire is not going to last, but at least we're going to take down as many of them as we can as we fall. It's a lucky. Because he knoweth that he had but a short time. He know Wagwan. He know what's going on. Good night. Listen, a lot of them are just listening to class, taking notes. They're like, damn, we can't stop the truth. No, you can't. You should not have invented Google and YouTube. Not that if you wouldn't have invented it, it would not have stopped the truth. Why? Because prophecies come to pass. That's how we know the Bible is true. Whatever measures you would like to take to stop the truth, I'm going to show you right now, there's nothing you can do about it. Let's keep reading. Verse 13. And when the dragon, the devil, the dragon is the same one again. Y'all go read a few verses above, but we'll break it down in another class. And when the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man child. For time's sake, that woman is the nation of Israel. That man child is representing Christ. It's a metaphor. Why? How you know it's not talking about an actual dragon? Because there is no such thing as an actual dragon. This is not a movie. This is not How to Tame a Dragon. This is not the Disney Channel. This is not Pokemon. Dragons do not exist. The closest thing to what you could see as a dragon today is what? A big ass lizard. The Komodo dragon, the Chinese water dragon, which are just lizards. Listen, leave the Christian church and come to class if you want to understand what's in the Bible. Whether it's definition, context, metaphor, allegory, come to class. Sit in these classes. You can't come to a physical class? Well, there's online classes. You have no excuse. You should stop saying, well, I don't have a physical building. I can come to class. Nigga, you on TikTok every day. Listen, I guarantee you a lot of y'all are buying prostitutes off of your phone. You could just come to class on your phone. But no, you rather buy prostitutes and weed and I don't even know, do TikTok challenges and look like a sodomite. That's what you rather do when you could just come to class. You're on YouTube watching how to cook crack. Go on YouTube and type ISUPK, Brotherhood class, law class, history class. Right after this one West online classes for General Mahaiman's scripture breakdown. That's all you have to do. It's that simple. You make it complicated where it's really simple, right? But again, as this devil, right, this dragon is being cast down, as we seen where they said, Obadiah, who shall bring me down to the ground? As this devil is falling from his pedestal, falling from his position of power, he's persecuting us even more. He's deporting Venezuelans to go to war with Venezuela. You know, there's how you call it? I forgot the proper term, but companies that are taking advantage of the fact that Jamaica was hit with a hurricane to go buy the destroyed houses, buy the land from the distraught people, just to reinvest, to make a profit off of their oppression, to make a profit off of their loss. They're not putting in money to Jamaica to rebuild the houses. You know, they say, you know what, we're going to buy cheap destroyed land. We're going to probably build a resort. Listen, that you could have spent less money to give to the people so they could rebuild their houses as opposed to invest in a resort where you're still going to oppress the people regardless. And if you don't build a resort, you're still oppressing the people regardless. But our oppressor never has enough. And now that he sees he knows he had a short time, he's going to oppress you even more. In even more violent ways to oppress you. You understand? Let's keep reading. Verse 14. So like, let's jump down. So we do verse. No, let's just not for time's sake. Think to verse 17. No, let's go to verse 15. Yeah. Verse 15. And this Revelation chapter 12, verse 15. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman. That water is what we were talking about. The propaganda about we're going to Mexico to get rid of the drug cartels. We're going to Colombia because all the drugs are coming. No, we're going to Venezuela. That's what Trump said, because all the drugs are coming to Venezuela. Not only that's crazy work. That's even, listen, not only are you listening to an idiot that told you drink bleach to get rid of COVID, right? It's not a secret that most of the cocaine came from Colombia. Pablo Escobar is Colombian. Now, I'm not saying go against Colombia. The point is, y'all will believe any stupidness that this man is saying without asking even one single question. Now, I'm not saying drugs don't come out of other countries than Colombia, but Colombia was the superstar of the cocaine business since the 80s, if not the 70s, right? Now, the thing is, he's blaming a gang called Tren de Aragua. Did you know that Tren de Aragua is not known, even though it is a Venezuelan-born prison gang, they're not known for their role in drug trafficking. They're known for their role in extortion and contract killings. But he's not saying that he's going to fight extortion. He's not saying that he's going to fight the sicarios. He's saying, well, we're going to stop the drug cartels and the drug dealers in Venezuela. That's the propaganda. Now, if you know about the history of the region, Venezuela is currently at odds with Guyana. They're sharing a border. And not that border, that area of the border, the Essequibo area around the Essequibo River has a large deposit of oil. Guyana, formerly British Guyana, is an ally to the US. Venezuela, not so much. Venezuela is trying to prevent Trump from accessing that large oil deposit. Even though they still have the largest natural oil deposit, let's make sure Trump don't get one drop of it, or America in general. Why? Because you need oil to fuel all those jets, to fuel those tanks, to fuel those cars, because the world is going to war. They're just getting ready. Apparently, Russia is selling their gold reserves, which is a taboo. You don't sell the gold of your nation like that to fund the war. You understand? This is what the climate we're in. They're going to use all the propaganda to go to war to Mexico. They have an immigrant problem. If you have an immigrant problem, why are you letting in white South Africans on the pretense that they are fleeing from a genocide on white South Africans in Africa after they colonized the native, for lack of better words, black South Africans? Make it make sense. Y'all watch a movie. I think it's Forrest Whitaker played in that movie. It's damn, I think it's called Zulu or something like that. It's a movie about the apartheid in South Africa. Go watch the movie Blood Diamond. Go watch the movie Beast of a Nation. White people are the cause of all the civil war in Africa. Who's giving them guns? You understand? Make it seem, well, the whites are suffering a genocide at the hand of the black South Africans. That's why he's letting in all the white people from South Africa. Well, guess what? Right? You people destabilized every single country of Central and South America and the Caribbean, but you're not letting any of these people in. And when you do, you send them back. How does that make sense? You see, everything would just make sense if you would ask questions. If you allow yourself to ask questions, because people are going to say, well, they don't let us ask questions. You ask, matter of fact, come to class and ask all the questions. We'll give them to you. Come to class, go on Black Watch, go and Cross the Line, One West Ground Zero Radio, On the Ends, right? What's another one? Chopped and Cut. What's another one we got? The Breakdown Podcast, The War Report, Roundtable of Truth. Come on all our shows. Come on all the classes. We have all the answers to all the questions. So you have no excuse to not know that this is propaganda. If the issue was to get rid of the cartel, you could just dismantle the organization you created. You could find, was not Saddam Hussein, I forgot, bin Laden in the most remote cave somewhere in the desert. You can't find a cartel that is not even hiding. The white man is the goddamn devil the Bible speaks of. And that again, right? The serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman. That's propaganda they're pushing against us. All sorts of lies. It don't matter what lies. They're white lies. It's a lie, you know. That he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. That's how he's going to destroy it. That's how he's going to turn everybody against us. Why? Because you're a super criminal. Because you're a savage. Because I forget, the French said something about the Mohawk people, but they just needed to be destroyed. So they made up something to destroy the Mohawk. You know, the father of gynecology, I keep forgetting his name. The father of modern gynecology experimented on black women during slavery. He did horrendous things to them on the pretense that, well, you know, they're kin to animals and they don't feel pain. Everything that's, listen, white people, the only thing you could believe about white people when they say this is that they're evil. If they tell you they're evil, believe them. Some video I put out today, some sodomite is saying there is no straight white man. Believe them. Whoever they say is white is on the Epstein list. Not that we care, just believe them. Everything that is negative about this people, believe them. It's going to make it easier for you. Why? Because if you really want to go down the rabbit hole, look for something positive about white people. Look, just look. You will find nothing. Nothing. It's not my personal opinion. Just search and call me when you find something. Don't tell me they brought civilization. They didn't. Don't tell me they brought morals. They're fighting to legalize pedophilia today, just like back in the days in the Greco-Roman Empire. So yeah, miss me with that. You understand? Don't believe anything the white man says unless he's saying something bad about himself. If he says that he's gonna unalive himself and the whole planet Earth, yes, he will. He would unalive death if he could. You know, Salakia, let's keep reading. Good night. Verse 16, which is what I was telling you earlier. You cannot stop the truth. Revelation chapter 12, verse 16, and the earth helped the woman. And the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. Sidebar, to show you how dumb you are if you believe it's a real dragon. It went from a dragon to a serpent spewing water out of his mouth. I don't know if you paid attention. The dragon magically transformed into a serpent that spit water. This is not Pokemon. And they don't even spit water in Pokemon either. The point is, it's a metaphor. It's a sidebar, right? Now, the earth helped the woman. You can't stop the truth. The truth is always going to prevail. It's a simple Google research will show you who the biggest drug dealer is on the planet Earth. Historically speaking, it's always been the oppressor. Pablo Escobar had nothing on the crown of England. Nothing. You understand? Canada, the west coast of Canada decriminalized all the drugs. You could go to Vancouver today and buy crack, buy fentanyl, buy cocaine, buy heroin, buy all types of drugs. As long as it's a recreational amount, you will not get arrested. It's legal on the west coast of Canada. Damn, a devil opened up a shop. You see, that's like we have weed shop today. He opened up a shop and was selling crack legally. Yeah, he was selling crack. He was selling fentanyl. He was selling everything. Now the Lord is not. God is not mocked. That devil died of an overdose. That is hilarious. The point is, our president, the biggest drug dealer. Canada legalized weed, what, in 2017? You know, Justin Trudeau, they're talking about making their own synthetic cocaine. They said, the hell with going to straight to the supplier. We're going to manufacture our own synthetic cocaine. Damn, how much of an evil bastard they are. You know, the point is, you can't stop the truth. You can't. And now for time's sake, I know I had a couple more verses, but for time's sake, I'm gonna give you let's go to Isaiah, right? Salakia. I'm being too long-winded. The point is, you can't stop the truth, and this is what you're going to have to do to avoid everything that is going to happen, because you will get destroyed with these people. You will. It's inevitable. I'm going to show you how it's inevitable first, and then we'll go to Isaiah and back to Revelation, right? Let's go to Habakkuk chapter 2, verse what? Verse 2 or 3? Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 3. All these prophecies are coming to pass, and they are coming to pass. You can't stop it from happening. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 3 says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time. That vision, that prophecy. You understand? They all came as visions. But at the end it shall speak and not lie. It don't matter if it's tomorrow. It don't matter if it's 5 years. Listen, our generation could die, and Christ is still coming back. Christ said coming back. That's how you know Christ is the nigga. He said, I'm coming back, and he ain't been back yet, but he's still coming back. You just don't know what time. But he's coming back. He's not defaulting on his word. You understand? For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it. They might sign a peace treaty tomorrow. Next week, 2026 is coming. You don't know what's going to happen. They're going to deactivate the nuclear warheads. Some of them, at least. And say, we reached a peace treaty. You know, we agreed to whatever the case is. Nobody's going to work on nuclear weapons or whatnot. And next week, someone is just pressing the button. Or the year after that, or 2 years after that. Just know that what's prophesied will happen. Because it will surely come it will not tarry. Meaning this, when was Christ told? Listen, Christ told the disciples, I'm coming back. You know for how long people have been saying Christ is coming back? Don't give up. Wait for his return. Well, he's taking too long. Listen, you know how I know that you can be patient? Because you will sleep in front of a store to buy some $200 shoe that you will throw away the year after that. For 3 days, you will sit for 3 days in a store to buy some ugly ass Jordans. I despise Jordans. But you will wait in front of that store. A lot of people sleep for a whole week in front of a video game store. They sleep, they don't shower. They get Uber delivered in front of a GameStop just to make sure they're the first ones to buy the new, what is it now, PlayStation 6 that is going to come out, GTA 6. You will sleep in front of a store for a whole goddamn week, looking like a bug out. You understand? Believe me, you can be patient. I think Christ's return is worth more than that Xbox that you're probably going to sell the next year. Probably just not going to work anyways. Or who knows? They're probably going to shoot an EMP and then you won't have electricity. Now you spend $1,000 on a PlayStation 6 that you can't even play because you have no lights in your house. Matter of fact, you can't even play the PlayStation 6 because you have no lights in the house because you spent all your money on weed. And now you're in the dark sucking on blunts like a homosexual when all you could have done is just come to class and get straight. That's as simple as it is. All these prophecies are coming to pass and it is unstoppable, right? Let's go real quick to Revelation chapter 18. Revelation chapter 18 verse 4. It says, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people. Separate yourself from Babylon. That's what he's talking about. Spiritual Babylon, which is America. Its influence. Everything that they brought forth. You know, accepting the alternative lifestyle worldwide. You need to reject all their ideologies, philosophies, beliefs that they push on you, specifically on you, Black, Latinos, and Native American. Integration, right? Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. Why? Because the Most High will render this place desolate. Why? Because of the sins they committed, the sins that have reached up to heaven. The Most High is like, well, good night. They need to be eradicated. It's about time. Listen, mind you now, you're not waiting on Christ. That's the crazy part. I said that earlier. Keep waiting. Christ is waiting on you. Imagine you think you're impatient. Christ is not coming back. Christ is patient because he's waiting on you. Matter of fact, the Most High is waiting on you. Most High is waiting on you so he could send Christ for you. That's the crazy part. Damn, I almost forgot that. See, I said it wrong. We're not waiting on Christ. We're not waiting on God to send Christ. God is waiting on us to get back on the right path so he could send Christ to deliver us. But you're so selfish. You're like, why? God is not reaching. Well, he's taking too long. Maybe you taking too long to stop smoking weed. You should just stop. You're taking too long to come to class. I'm about, well, I don't have time. I know you do. Because you got fired from your job for pulling out your phone and watching a YouTube video. Pull out your phone and watch class. That's it. And you have no excuse, even if you're in prison. You know how I know? Because y'all niggas are in prison doing Snapchat and TikTok dances. It's all over the internet. And then you get your phone confiscated and you get a couple more months. Well, all you could have done is just watch class on that prison phone. Like, listen, when there's no excuse, you don't understand that when there is no excuses. Stop making an excuse. God is waiting on you. And for you to not receive of the plagues that is going to befall on this empire that are already falling right now, whether it's the next wave of COVID. What they have? Avian flu. What else? H1N1 is coming back. They have new viruses that we can't even pronounce yet that are spreading fast. You know, Iran is drying out. Go to Iran right now. Iran is drying out. They're running out of water over there. They're not going to have any crops in Iran. The famines. Listen, just look at all the world events. The plagues are not tarrying. We brought that up last time. The plague is like the contraction of a pregnant woman. They're coming one after the other unexpectedly. It's like, what's next? Listen, damn near every day there's a earthquake in the Caribbean island. Every day. If you don't want to receive of her plagues, if you don't want to be part of the destruction, you better leave it. That's what I was going to bring out in Isaiah real quick. So like, let me put out the sign out link as well. I see someone, Robert Man. There's no such thing as shalom. It's shalom. The only reason you think there's such thing as shalom is because of the water that the serpent spew out of his mouth, of the lies that they're putting out there, such as Yiddish. There's no shalom, is shalom. Now let's go to Isaiah 31, verse 1. No, sorry, I'm gonna go to verse 3 right away for time's sake, right? Isaiah chapter 31, verse 3. Now the Egyptians are men. If we go up to verse 1, it says that you trust in Egypt and not in the Lord. Why? Because they look strong. They have an army. They have chariots and horses. Today, the white man is strong. He has all the power in the world. Dumb niggas are saying, if you can't beat them, join them. Well, this is for those who decide to join them, as opposed to keep fighting till you die. You fight to the death, to your last breath. You don't capitulate. You don't give up. Look at we're about to resume the history classes. We're going to go over the history of the Maccabees, specifically because we're approaching Hanukkah, right? When the Greeks took us over, some of them, you know what they decided to do? They decided to join the Greeks. Others fought to the death. Why? Because they said we never eat pork. That's why. We will never be faggots. That's why. They said we will never turn our back against the Most High. We will fight to the death. Listen, the history of the Maccabees is one of my favorite. You see the amount of war and bloodshed. You see the movie 300 had nothing on the history of the Maccabees. Nothing. But this is a similar instance. Why? Because as opposed to fighting our oppressors, we decided to join them because they look mighty to us. Our people are really carnal. We're impressed because they have tanks and we have what? Nothing. Even the weapons that they provide for us to kill each other belong to them. So we think, how can we even fight them? Even verbally have a discussion, we're using their language. You see, that's how much of a slave mind was beat into you, to think that, well, you can't beat him at his own game with his own language. I know you can. You know why? Because I speak better than the average French person. I speak better than the English. The average English person in English is not my first language. I speak better Hebrew than any Jewish person because they don't speak Hebrew. They speak Yiddish and they say shalom, and shalom turned into shalom when it really is shalom. You understand? Isaiah chapter 31 verse 3. Salakia, being too long-winded. Not the Egyptians are men and not God. You're impressed by someone. What people say today, we all bleed red. Guess what? They bleed red too. They're not as powerful as they make you think they are. They're just regular men. The one has a Benz and you have shoes. And you're impressed by the Benz? No sweat. Guess what? The Benz will crash. And he will be nothing without the Benz. Don't judge a book by its cover. You're doing the total opposite and judging all the books by their covers. All these trees in the garden, you're judging them by their leaves. Why? Because you let me put you like this, right? As you are the most favorite people of God on the face of the earth, the Most High has a favorite flower. So let me compare it to a slow growing, flourishing lily. You're looking at all these trees, you know, and you're thinking these trees, especially in Canada or up north, right? Right before winter and fall, you think it's beautiful. The trees have green leaves, have yellow leaves, have orange leaves. These are dead. You think it's beautiful, but they're dead. The inside of the tree bark is rotting. But you're amazed that, oh, it's so colorful. You know, you're amazed. Damn, you want to join the rainbow community because you see all the colors on the rainbow flag, which really, we're gonna get into that next class. The rainbow belongs to us. They stole it. But you're amazed. You're amazed at everything you see. You're like a child. You're like a child. That's what you are. You know, oh, a big tank, a big gun. It's powerful. Mind you now, not only is empty, probably a toy, and it doesn't work. And the person behind it, you know, is I don't want to say it, is the most cowardly human being on the face of the earth. You understand? Even when it comes to fighting, guess what? The natives didn't lose the fight. They were poisoned, and then they were hit. You know, they were stabbed in the back when they were dying already from smallpox. That's what happened. The white man is such a sore loser. He lost the Vietnam War and started dropping napalm on the Vietnamese. Imagine that. The point is, you're looking at the people like, damn, they're so powerful. They could do whatever to us. We surely cannot win a fight. Guess what? It says, now the Egyptians are men and not God. They're really not as strong as you think they are. They don't have as much power as you think they are. You know why? Because the Most High, the Most High kill and make alive. That's it. The Lord is the Almighty, and He's not sharing His seat with anyone, especially not with this disgusting, filthy heathen. You understand? It's that simple. Stop putting your oppressor on the pedestal. If you stop looking at them with the illusion of grandeur that they have, you will understand that, well, really, it's an illusion. That's the crazy part. Imagine you believing in an illusion, which is really what it is. This is the only reason why you think so highly of your oppressor. Because you look at the illusion like it's real. But again, now the Egyptians are men and not God. We keep reading. And their horses, flesh and not spirit. Listen, that tank, that horse is going to rot away. It's going to get rusty. It's going to break down. And it's not going to be able to harm you. When Yahweh, it's like when the Lord shall stretch out His hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that is hoping shall fall down, and they shall fail together. That's the point we just read in Revelation 18:4. And this is why the white man is wanting you to still believe in this illusion and still push propaganda to destroy you. Why? Because his empire is coming down, and he's bringing you down with him. Let's read that again. When the Lord shall stretch out His hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that is hoping shall fall down, and they all shall fail together. You're going to be brought down with the white man if you don't want to separate from him. Mind you, the class is them or us. We read it earlier in 2nd Ezra, chapter 6, verse 10. The hand of man is betwixt the hand and the heel. There is no gray area. You cannot be lukewarm. You know, it's not a black or white issue. It's an Israelite versus Edomite issue. And it's really spiritual. Because they're winning the fight because we accept everything they tell us. We accept Christianity. We accept Catholicism. Damn, the white man will convert to Islam, take over Islam, and we're going to accept Islam. Hey, imagine that. Not that we're not accepting it, because we think it's the only way to fight white supremacy. The point is, you need to open your eyes and stop believing in the illusion. The American dream can only be achieved in the sunken place. Go watch the movie Get Out. In the sunken place, this is where you achieve the American dream. To be able to dream, you have to be asleep. You understand? You have to smoke weed to be able to daydream and think, well, is the government our enemy? Who runs the government? They're dumb as hell. Is these religions? Who runs these religions? And people say the dumbest thing ever. Why? Because they're not in class. They're not in class and they think they're smart. I don't care how, listen, people cheat in high school. You think they don't cheat in college? I don't give a damn about your certificate. And God doesn't either. The only thing the Most High cares about is your obedience. And if you want to turn your back on him because he didn't show you a plethora of firearms and go to your oppressor who's providing these same firearms that he's manufacturing so you could kill each other, so that he could shoot you in the back talking about, I fear for my life. Most of us say, yo, you know I'm going to destroy them. And if you want to be with them, I mean, Lord be with you. And he's not going to be with you. So I like it. But with that said, we're going to end the class right here. You know, I don't think we're going to do a part 2. There's a lot of few precepts I wanted to bring out as well. To water for everybody who tuned in. Make sure y'all click the sign in and sign out link in the class. In the chat, we're live on I.S.U.P.K, Montreal, Toronto, I.S.U.P.K La Puraneta podcast, right? Just tune in, John Hyman's scripture breakdown class on One West online classes on YouTube. It's going to be live right now. We're going to resume the history classes in the next week. I want to say it's next Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right? Until then, we have our show 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, One West Ground Zero. You make sure you tune into these classes. You have nothing else to do. I know. Because you're high on the couch right now. That's how I know. You understand? With that said, I'm going to get a security announcements. And we'll see you next week for the French Brotherhood class. Same topic, but in French. All right? Dua Israel Shalom. This is the I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K, started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they're off limits for 6 months. They're to be saluted only. They're here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After the 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers chapter 18 verse 21 and Malachi chapter 3 verse 8 to 10. Means 10th in the Hebrew. Ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the Treasury Department a teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming Holy Convocation. The next one, as mentioned before, is the Feast of Dedication, or Hakanaka in the Hebrew, which is the 25th day of the 9th month by the space of 8 days, which falls on Sunday, December 14th, 2025 for 8 days. You can read more about it in the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 4, verse 52 to 61. Reminder to all Akim and Aquatian to check the bulletin board in the hallway of their school. They have a physical location, and if anyone or any brother wants to be a trooper in the school, to start wearing all black boots, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf. With that, so we'll give a courtesy salute to the brothers and a courtesy salute to the sisters. Menavisual Imajam, which means to stand. We'll give a courtesy salute to the brothers. Menavisual Imajam Shabbat. Imajam Barak. Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai Barakatam, meaning Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai bless y'all. Yajamata, which means hands down. Sar, which means to turn. So turning face the sisters will give them a courtesy salute as well. Menavisual Imajam Shabbat. Imajam Barak. Yahweh Shamar Alatan Bahasham Yahweh Shai. Meaning Yahweh, watch over y'all in the name of Yahweh Shai. Yajamata, class dismissed. Again, the water, everybody who tuned in, and we'll see you next time, Israel. Shalom.
Check me out, dog. Roll the window up, man. The water. Ain't no better, dog, really. The son of a king. I don't Balenciaga. I might just wear Kyla. I might just wear the Pradas. But I'm thinking long term, so I might say the dollars. We ain't no better. I'm just being honest. I should've went to college, but I was thinking violence. It's a one West world. We the fucking livest. Break it down, we break ground. We don't break no damn promise. Let's get active, dog. Don't tell me how you feel about it. These cats saying too much. They ain't learn enough. You maxed out the first quarter, I'm still warming up. These niggas tossing up a brick, they can't score with us. Who gon' come against us? On the Lord with us. Them niggas riding for you. I hope they ride till they crash. Put my name in your mouth, I put my belt to your ass. I ain't running no race, I just hope that I last. All them niggas you look up to, I consider them trash. Only time you seen a leader was in Wayne hand. Niggas will dab you, then pop you with the same hand. I'm a main player, I stick to the game plan. He don't really fuck with you, that's your main man. We them niggas came through and made your city hot. Yup, said he in the field, but he really not. And I ain't casting no stone, I just let him rock. And that's the kind of story they gon' read about. But if it's war, it ain't no tapping out. Grip still heat, spit like a dragon mouth.
Hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man, if you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please, go to isupk.com and pay your tithe. Drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do. They're one West.